Okay, so let's go to the got it, A, B, and C. Notice we have a power being raised to a power. All we have to do is multiply those exponents. How easy is that? 5 times 2 is 10. Same thing here. It doesn't matter if it's a number or a variable. I take W and I multiply the exponents. I get W to the 24th because 4 times 6 is 24. Here we have 3 to the 2 times 3 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6, times 2 again is 12. Now what you'll also notice is I'm leaving my answers in exponent form. I'm not writing out 2 to the 10th power is 1024. I don't want you to do that. I want you to leave it as an exponent. Same thing here. I don't want you to tell me what 3 to the 12th power is. I want you to leave it in exponent form. This is all the work you need to do. It shouldn't take you 15 minutes. It should take you about 30 seconds. The other property that's in this section is called power of a product. And notice it's essentially the same thing that we just looked at. We have a power or a term being raised to another power. And all we need to be careful of is that the exponent on the outside gets distributed to each term on the inside. So the 6 is getting that third power and that x squared is getting that third power. It works the same way. That base is being multiplied out the number of times dictated by the exponent. And it looks confusing, but it works pretty much the same way. So let's take a look at some examples and see if we can clear it up a little bit. I kind of use it the same way as the distributive property, only this time I'm distributing exponents. So I still do my little arcs to make sure that everything gets it. And this one just has a little bit of an intermediate step. I write out that 8 gets an exponent and b to the 9th also gets an exponent. Here, 8 squared is 64. Though, like I told you before, I'm totally okay with you leaving it as 8 squared. But for the sake of this problem, it's a small exponent. Let's just make it 64. And here, b to the 9th squared, that's the property we just went over, the power of a power. So I'm going to multiply the exponents to get b to the 18th power. So my answer is 64, b to the 18th. Here, this 4 is going to get distributed to all three of these things. It's going to go to the y, the x, and the 6. So I'm going to have 6 to the 4th power. I'm going to have x to the 5th raised to the 4th power. And I'm going to have y to the 11th raised to the 4th power. Now, for 6 to the 4th, that's a pretty big number, so I'm just going to leave it as 6 to the 4th. If you want to multiply that out and see what it is, good for you, but that's more work than we need to do. For this one, for x, remember, when we have an exponent raised to another exponent, we multiply them. So we get x to the 20th power. And same thing with y. We multiply those exponents to get y to the 44th. And that's my answer. Whee! And the last one works the same way. This 3 gets distributed to everything on the inside of the parentheses. So we have -5 to the 3rd power. And notice whenever I have a negative, I keep it in parentheses. We have w squared to the 3rd, and we have z to the 8th to the 3rd. I end up with -5 to the 3rd power, w to the 6th power, and z to the 24th. We don't need to multiply that out.